Welcome back everyone to the channel. Just a quick news update for you today, so I won't be too long, but from a statement issued by Formula 1 this morning, the Azerbaijan, Japanese and Singapore Grand Prix for 2020 have all been cancelled thanks to the ongoing situation around the globe at the moment. This isn't a huge surprise, especially Azerbaijan and also Singapore. Both circuits are street circuits, and just like Formula E, around the world, events like that are situated during and using city roads were always going to be super difficult to try and work out to stage a Grand Prix over the season. Ross Brawn, over the last couple of weeks, has also mentioned that managing protocol, testing people coming to the events, managing audience numbers and spectator numbers was always going to be an impossible task, and so they have made the decision to cancel both events. The Japanese Grand Prix, a little bit different, Suzuka being a purpose-built circuit, but again, thanks to the current situation in Japan, they have decided to not go ahead with the Japanese Grand Prix. Three circuits which, to be quite honest with you, are some of my favourites on the calendar, especially Singapore under the floodlights, always looks super brilliant. Baku, crashes galore, and the history at Japan, all of them will be missed. But as we saw a couple of weeks ago, we already have 8 races on the calendar. We've got 2 starting off in Austria in just 3 weeks' time. We then head to Hungary, 2 at Silverstone, Spain, Monza, and Belgium. However, in more statements issued over the last couple of days, Formula 1 have also hinted that they are very, very close to nailing on the Bahrain and Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. So at the bare minimum now, it seems we have 10 races, not 8, which is doubly good news. But again, not 100% confirmed as of yet. But more news regarding the Bahrain Grand Prix is that, like speculated at the beginning of this year, before everything kicked into overdrive, Bahrain is considering still to do 2 Grand Prix. So just like we're going to see at Austria and also Silverstone, Bahrain are also playing with the idea of hosting 2 races on 2 separate weekends. But what's also interesting about this is that Bahrain, just like circuits such as Paul Ricard, can use multiple layouts. Silverstone is another example where multiple layouts are possible, but Bahrain is considering going back to one of the older roads that we saw in 2010, and there has also been calls for them to use an oval circuit. Yeah, I'd love to know your thoughts on that in the comment section below, but Bahrain is a circuit I always believe is slightly underrated when people pick out their best circuits on the calendar. So if we have 1 race there, brilliant. If we have 2, even better. And at this point, I think we're all ready to go racing, and any kind of circuit would be lovely. But just to quickly wrap up today's news video, there has also been talk of hosting several extra races in Europe. Of course, the 8 races we already have are in Europe, are confirmed races, and that supposedly would be the full European season. But thanks to these now 3 races in Asia being cancelled, still no news on the Chinese Grand Prix, just something to note, that is not yet being cancelled as of yet and may still go ahead in Shanghai later in the year. But there is talk of more races going ahead in Europe. Ross Brawn speaking to Formula1.com, hinting that we could see 1, 2 or even 3 extra races in Europe at circuits we weren't even supposed to go to in 2020. Hockenheim, where we saw that fantastic Grand Prix last year in Germany, was supposed to be axed from the calendar this season, but it's looking very likely we could still be heading there in 2020. There has been a lot of talk of Mugello, a circuit issued, built and run by Ferrari for testing events and also used for MotoGP, a circuit which I think won't be the best racing for Formula 1, but it's certainly one that is soaked in motor racing history and would be a hell of a lot of fun to visit some tracks that we somewhat otherwise would never get to see in the Formula 1 world. Imola is another circuit that's been spoken about in length over lockdown. However, there is still some questions about safety of the circuit with modern Formula 1 cars. Also in Portugal, there is the Portimao circuit. I think I'm saying that incorrectly. I'm not familiar with this circuit myself, so I can't comment on if it's going to be good or bad for racing in Formula 1. But I think F1 are just making note that there are options on the table. And in today's statement on Formula1.com, Ross Brawn again hinting that we could see an announcement over the next couple of weeks about a couple of extra races in Europe. So I'd love to know your thoughts on extra races in Europe. Perhaps we could go back to Brands Hatch. Somewhere like that could be really cool. But if there's anywhere I've not mentioned, I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments section below. But the news today: Azerbaijan, Japan and Singapore Grand Prix will be cancelled for 2020. If you want to keep up to date with all of the Formula 1 2020 news, feel free to subscribe. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Like if you did enjoy, dislike if you didn't. Helps me know if you like the content or not. Thank you all for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.